Here we are at the beginning of my bald eagle project. I take some, as you can see, just some finished 6x6s, glue them up into a block. I like to start with a square block so that I can draw my profile lines. Now that is a real thing. That's the bird I'm doing. It is sized up to the size I'm doing also. I'll pin that on the wall and refer to it as I'm carving. And I'm just putting the profile lines in. I like to mark them out really good with machine. And I'll do it on both sides. I'm outside here on my chainsaw. Carving would not be complete if I don't touch it with a chainsaw at some point. So those are the profile lines. I like to have them on, like I said, I have them on both sides so that I can chase them in on both sides. If I was to make one cut from one side, the chances of meeting the line on the other side is a little bit unlikely. So I like to just slow down sometimes, be a little cautious, make sure I hit those lines. As you can see, I have scribed on my table a couple inches off that, just to take it down to a more workable size. I got too much meat on it. Take it down, brush it off. Took a little pit stop there. And there we go. Do the same to the other side. And there I've got a nice place to start in sizing up the body of the bird. This is the tail. As you can see, I've used 3 pieces of wood, and the grain is running lengthwise of the feathers of the tail. And I make it that way so that it's going to be strong. The tail won't break. I put a cut, this is that I'm going to glue the tail onto the body. As you can see, that cut is wrong. I cut kind of a dish out, and I shouldn't have. It should have been a straight cut. But that's YouTube for you. That's allowed. I'm allowed. No one's going to fire me for doing that. So I just figured I had the grinder out. Let's just straighten this up with the grinder. As you can see, I just straighten that up. And I've made a little straight edge that I tacked onto the body of the bird. And so that's going to give me a straight surface to glue that tail onto. That tail that I prepared earlier. Take that off. Things to do there. I miss a lot of footage. I get all wrapped up in what I'm doing here, and I forget. Oh, I think I'm making a YouTube. I better film this. Glue that tail on, and the glue is actually stronger than the wood. This is an exterior type glue. If that joint breaks, it will not break the glue. The wood will break before that glue. Look at this. What a piece of artwork, eh? I should just take those clamps off and leave it at that and think, wow, only one of its kind. Take it downtown New York City to an art gallery and sell it as modern art. Get $1 million for it. Not my style though. See, I've glued I've glued those wings up, the tail up, so the grain runs in a way that things aren't going to break. As you will see later on, I'll pin those wings. I'll put a steel reinforcement right through that wing. I mean, the only way this thing's going to get damaged is if somebody drops it off their roof or something like that. This is my electric chainsaw. I'm inside. I like to get that thing out, and it's very effective. I do like using gas chainsaws, but it's a little messy inside, a little smoky. Probably not too good for me. So we'll use the electric one. There's some wings. Just kind of get the feather pattern off those wings. And I'll draw them on. That's the bird I'm doing. My bird should turn out much similar to that. I've changed the wings a bit, but generally it's going to look like that. As you can see, I'm looking at the feather pattern, the wings from the back side to get the feather pattern in there. The feathers have to be laying a certain way in order for them to be functional. And I'm probably one of the few people that would notice if the structure of the feathers was wrong. That bird's not going to fly. So I'll make sure they're put in right. Now I'll get that all cut out. I'll take the electric chainsaw and go around the edge of those feathers just to cut out the excess wood around there. There I go. See that? Still a chainsaw job. Now I've gone to the inside of the bird, carving out the feathers. So I have referenced the feather pattern for the inside of the wings too, which will be a different pattern than the outside. I like to do things out of my imagination too. I don't always reference the real thing because sometimes I'll make things to suit the human eye. Okay, there's the inside feather pattern. I like to go over the whole bird and kind of bring it up all together. You know, like if I'm building that tail, I'll build the wings and the legs and the beak all at the same time. Just to make sure it's all proportional and all works together. So as you can see, there's still lots to do on every part of that. So I'm back to the tail again, back to the wings again. Looks like a different day, different clothes, different lighting. One of these days I'll be a professional photographer. Not today though. Cutting in all these feathers. I like to cut them in. That's a head, a reference of an eagle head. That's a young one because it hasn't turned bald yet. There is a good old bald eagle head. So I'm going to reference that. Make sure that I get it looking real as possible. And that one on the wall, that picture on the wall is the bird I'm doing. Change it, like I said, I changed the wings a bit. Oh, it looks like the sun's going down. And I'm still working. Man, I wish there was a chip I could put in my skull to put me in time-lapse mode and work this fast all the time. Okay, another day, another change of clothes. Just cleaning up those wings. There's a lot defining those feathers a little better. Polishing them up, and use a polishing stone. Ooh, this thing's coming alive. And that's the talons I'm going to put on the foot of the bird, basically. So I like to always reference the real thing. See those legs on that? I wasn't happy with that. Yeah, they're too skinny, and I eventually just cut them off and build new ones. But for now, we'll just show you how it's done by sampling, giving those skinny legs and these feet, showing them as my sample of how to do it. I'm using maple here. I like to make the feet out of hardwood because the talons should be something a little stronger. I'm only using maple because I had it kicking around the shop. And I'm using my electric chainsaw here and whipping off some feet. You see that round plug? It's a tenon. It's a mortise and tenon. The mortise is in the actual leg, and that's the hole, and the tenon is on the foot. And I slip it in there and glue it in. Add a few little staples there. Tack it in place just so it stays in place. Till it dries, doing a little more finishing here. Actually getting some detail into those feathers. Making it look more like the real thing all the time. Yeah, closing in on the real thing here. Finished product. Later on, I'll pin those wings. I'll put a metal rod right through the wing there. Just because the grain is running in such a way that wing could break off. So I'll just drill a hole right into the body of the bird and hammer and glue a metal rod into that wing. There I am drilling. And there's the hole. Pound that pin in there with some glue. And that wing should not break. There's what I've come up with the skinny legs and all. As you'll see later, there will be different legs on that bird. And I actually finished the whole bird before I decided to change the legs. Here I'm doing some painting inside. Excuse the bald head there. I should have wore a hat. I'm not supposed to show off my bald head. There's the finished thing. And as you can see, I've put different legs on there. Different feet. Looks a little better, eh? And the same deal. Mortise and tenon. Those feet in, made of hardwood. I used maple again. That there is the finished product, just like the one on the wall.